Hello, so this is going to be my final video that I do tonight for the 1020 system measurement for the electrode placements. I did a few practice rounds, worked out some kinks, so hopefully this goes smoothly. I've color coordinated my pins for each measurement I'm going to make, so it keeps me organized and you can see where I'm placing everything and differentiating between each of the measurements and placements of the 10% and 20%. Along those lines. So I'm gonna get started here. The first measurement of the main three that I'm gonna make is gonna be tragus to tragus. So tragus right here on the ear you see, we know, and then I'm gonna measure up over the head to the other side and the tragus, the right tragus here. I'm gonna get that measurement. I'm gonna take a mental note. So here we are with the tragus. On the left side, get that confirmed or secured. Measuring all the way over to the other tragus, and I see here that it's a 35 centimeter measurement. So for 10% of that, we're gonna hit 3.5 centimeters, and then for 20% of that, it's gonna be 7 centimeters. So I'm gonna use black pins for this line. And I'm going to start on the left side. So we're going to have odd numbers on the left side, even for the right, the letter corresponding to the area of the brain that I'm on. So we're going to hit T3 first, T temporal, starting at the tragus. I'm going to measure up where I started originally, and then I'm going to secure that, measure up 3.5 centimeters. For that 10% increment right here. And then from there, this is gonna be a 20% or 7 centimeter measurement up to hit C3. Okay, so again, I wanna make sure you know that I'm measuring from this reference point that I just placed and not the tragus. I'm gonna mark that with a black pin at number 7 centimeters. There we go. Another 20% increment from this point that I just placed at T3 to hit CZ, which is part of our central line from Nasian to Indian, which I will measure next. That's gonna be 7 centimeters. Get that lined up. I'll show you my placement after I place it. There we go. So that's measured from there to there is going to be that 7 centimeters, which is pretty close to the midline. A little tiny bit off, I'd say by like 0.2 of a centimeter, but like you said in the lecture that you gave, these heads are a little awkward, so I'm going to go with that. So we have another 20% measurement from the CZ, and we're going to get C4. So like I said at the beginning, we're on the right side of the measurement system, so we're going to be hitting even numbers. Gonna get a black pen, mark C4 at 7 centimeters on that line, which is going to be right there. Right there. Oh, sorry. You can probably tell, but I just want to make sure I get all this in there. 7 centimeter measurement. Okay. Lastly, one more 7 centimeter measurement to hit T4. I'm gonna get my pen ready. So I'm measuring from C4 to T4. And it's from C4, measuring 7 centimeters to get to T4. That's what I meant to say. And we're gonna place that pen here. And that completes that measurement from Nasian, tragus to tragus. Now, if I wanted to double check myself on this side to make sure we're not off lopsided, I know you didn't mention this, but I pointed out that if I wanted to check, I could measure that 10% difference between the T4 and the other tragus on the right side and get that 3.5 or the 10% interval, which I do here. So that reference point to the tragus, and that's right where my nail is 3.5. So did good. Better than the practice. Okay, so Next, we're gonna do the Z-line. So we're gonna do the Nasian, where, excuse me, the forehead kind of comes in a little and then boom, starts the nose, that point there. Nasian, up and over, crossing that perpendicular to the other line I just made, all the way to Indian, which is about right here where the head starts to come in a little bit at the bottom, right on that occipital bone. So I'm going to go ahead and mark FPZ while I'm at it, because I know that is a 10% measurement. First, I'm going to measure the whole length in centimeters again, from Nasian, get that secured there, I think that's about right, to the Indian, which if I'm marking that properly, which I believe I am, it's about approximately another 35 centimeters there where my nail is. So kind of makes the math easy. From last time, you remember 10%, 3.5 centimeters, 20% is the 7 centimeters. So I'm gonna use blue for the Z line. Wrong side of tape measure. I've got to do that 3.5 centimeter, 10% interval measurement up, over, and we're gonna do the 3.5. So that's gonna be 3.5 is gonna be FPZ. Blue, 3.5. And then from there, the measurement is gonna be 20%. So we're back to the 7 centimeters from this point that I just made. Get my blue pin ready. And this one is going to be FZ. Measure that to be the 7. Let's see, my tape measure's acting up again. Okay. So 7 there. And this is where it's this awkward shaped head's gonna kind of get me a little, that measurement between FZ and CZ should be the 7 centimeters, but as we can tell, it's really not that accurate of a 20%. Like I said, with a normal human head, I would make sure that it is, but for now, to save some time, and I just want you to realize, it should be, this should be equal to this, but it's not. And then from the CZ, we are going to do PZ. Let me make sure I'm going in order here. So yeah, 20% from CZ is going to be the PZ. So we're going to, blue pin here. I'm going to measure that 7 centimeters back. Oop. There. And then from PZ, 20%, that's 7 centimeters. Should be OZ. And that's there. And then there's going to be another 10% measurement to get all the way down to the Indian there. But I'm not going to mark that because it is not on our list. So there's that. So that's as best spacing as I could do there. So yeah, Nasian to Indian. So now I'm going to move on to the circumference of the head. And I'm going to measure that by starting at this part of the head. From here, I'm going to go around where the Nasian, about where the Nasian is, all the way around. Boop, boop, boop. And I see, I'm going to tighten that a little because I got loose, 50, looks like 55 centimeters there. It's backwards to you, it looks like 56 to you, but it is 55 centimeters. So that is the total. So we're going to be doing 10% increments around and that's going to be 5.5 centimeters for each increment. I'm going to be starting with T3 on the left side here, and I chose red pins for this, so let me grab those really quick. Red pins, so left side T3 is this point here. I'm going to start measuring anteriorly, and we're going to get to F7 by doing this. At 5.5 centimeters, measuring up, I'm going to line this up here. So 5.5 is here. Oops, I'm going to show you that before I moved it. That 5.5 is there. And then from the T3 to T3, F5, we should hit, that's going to be a point I label later, 10% of this measurement should be the FP1, which is about there, FP1. And then in the diagram I noticed, so these look close together, this is a 5% measurement. So that's why that's smaller there. 2.5 centimeters there, 2.25. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure the 10% from this last reference point I placed. Measure over that FPZ point. I'm gonna hit another 5.5 centimeters here. And again, 5%. In total, red to red, 10%, 5%, 5%. And this point here is actually going to be FP2. Oh, I'm sorry, I got these screwed up. So this is actually F7. I don't know if I mentioned that, F1, F2, FP2, and then I'm gonna measure another 5.5 for F8 with a red pin. Line these up. F8 is there. And then we get back to the T4 part, which should be another 5.5 centimeters if we're doing the 10% measurements, which we are, and that lines up pretty good, I'd say. So that was the anterior part. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the back, or the posterior, measuring from the T3, 5.5 centimeters posteriorly from that point. And we're gonna place another red electrode or pin, 5.5 centimeters. So I'm gonna place that. Tape measure is gonna be what takes up the most time on this video. 5.5 centimeters. Here, 5.5 red. And then we're going to do 0.1 here. It's going to be another 5.5 centimeters from this last point. .501. I'm going to hit 0.02. I'm going to measure like I did with the front. I'm going to measure from this red pin and mark another red pin here, keeping in mind that there's a 5% measurement between the blue and the red. 5.5 is right here. And that is a little off. That is 5.5 centimeters. Stay in there. And then from there, the last point is going to be T6 here. So we're on the right side again, even numbers. 5.5 from that last red pin. I'll show you when I'm done here. That is my 5.5 centimeter measurement. And if I measure from red to black, that should be 5.5, which it's relatively close, but like I said with the head, throwing me off a little bit. Okay, so now that we have all those placed, I can go ahead and grab my other pins. I'm going to be doing some green pins for the F3, F4 approximations. So now, I kind of gained from diagrams and from what you explain, also Dr. Yu's lecture. I'm going to measure the F3 point by marking a couple midpoints here. So I know I wouldn't do this on a normal human, but hopefully I'm better at it by then if I do that. I'm going to be using FP1, and I'm going to be measuring to, C3 here. And that is roughly 10 centimeters. Nope. Sorry. Here we go. It's roughly 10 centimeters, so I'm going to mark about the 5 centimeter mark here. And then I'm just going to double check here and measure from the from FZ to the F7 mark. So FZ, F7, FZ, F7. I'm marking midway. Well, I won't mark it, but it's about there. Okay, so that's also about 10.5. So approximating that, I'm going to place a green electrode there for the F3 point. There. That's where I kind of got, which kind of lines up with the diagram there as close as I can. Same thing. I'm going to do that on this side. I'm going to be measuring for F4. I'm going to be doing FP2, which is this red one here, to C4, which is this black one here. Let's see what that midpoint looks like. Same as the last one, so we're going to mark about midway, which is about 5 centimeters. I'd say closer to 5.5-ish. And then I'm just going to double check here that this is the midline for this side too, which it is. And my dot right about there, if you can see. So I'm going to place that green one there. And I know you didn't mention to put P3 and P4 in, but I wanted to keep myself organized, so I'm going to go ahead and place those two. I'm just going to do some quick measurements, put some green pins in. So for that, I'm going to do PZ, which is this blue pin here, to T5, just this red pin here. It's a bit of a longer distance. That one's about 12, so I'm going to mark that at 6 centimeters, a little after. And then I'm going to measure from C3 to O1. Which this is going to be a little off because this side was off to begin with. So yeah, that's about putting the P3 there. And then just to save time, I'm just going to do the measurements really quick. I'm measuring the PZ blue to the T6. At that point, it's a little off just because of the way this is. The measure is fine. I keep saying it's a little off, but it all looks even now that I'm looking at it. I'll place another one here for P4. Okay, so now that those reference points are done, got those ones. I'm gonna go ahead and approximate the last few here. I'm just double checking the list here that I have everything done for those ones. Get the red, black, blue, and green. Okay, so the last one's gonna be yellow. And this here approximate. So as you mentioned, prime, you're doing CZ prime. Prime means 2 centimeters posterior to the reference point listed in the name. So we have our CZ. I'm gonna take that measurement. Whoops, don't do that. I'm gonna measure 2 centimeters back. I'm gonna mark it here. So the CZ prime. And the next one I wrote down was going to be the C3 prime. So C3, left side. C3 is right here. 2 centimeters posterior. Oops. I think this patient would be very upset with me if they were a real person, how much I'm moving them around. But that's the 2 centimeters along this line. C4 prime. 2 centimeters back with my yellow pin here from this C4 electrode. Okay, there's that 2 centimeters. So now lastly, you would like us to approximate the C1 and C2, which I realize we use for our motors mainly. And I really don't have an exact measurement. Just from what I learned in the OR, we're going to start at the midline, the CZ line, and then C1 would be on the left, C2 on the right, and they're like roughly right here. So C1, I'll show you when I'm done. C2, C1, C2. So I guess there we have it. I'm just gonna double check here to make sure I have everything listed that I want to. C4 to pinpoint. All right, so this is what I got. Hopefully you were able to follow along and stay with me during this. And the measurements were a little off. I realized that like right here, but I feel like I explained my reasoning for that very well. If you have any questions, like text me or email me. And I believe that is all. So have a good night or have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.